Hello, everybody. Happy Friday Eve, or for some of us, it is our Friday. And this is what you need to know. I am Sybil Wilkes, and I don't know if you recognize that fellow, if not for his title or not. Hello, George Wallace.
This is George. I ain't got no money, Wallace. Can you understand me? Let me take my heavy gear off because I'm in Atlanta. You need gear. You need this gear. Sybil,
You need to be geared up.
you need to be geared all up. And Sybil, God
Yes,
bless
sir.
you. You want to come to Atlanta, but I want you to have a shield and everything on, okay? Because
Okay.
I don't know whether the people got the message or not down here. There's too many people walking around without masks here. I
Masses
swear,
on.
it's terrible. It's terrible. It's just too many people walking around. So if you come here, and I want you to come, if you want to support, but you have got to have on 4 or 5 masks
At a time.
at a time. You got to put it all on. It's embarrassing to see this many people walking around, and young people don't care about this pandemic,
Is that
and
right?
it is terrible. And I'm wearing a mask. I was joking, but I'm serious. I'm wearing 2 masks during the day, and I'm wearing this shield
Uh-huh.
because I'm already a hypochondriac, so I'm afraid of everything. And I just want, if you come here, I want you to be ready, and I want you to be right.
Well, George, thank you. I think I think Yolanda got the mask that's similar to the clear plastic, and we have the regular mask as
If
well.
you
Yeah,
don't, I have
yeah.
one for you. If
Okay,
you
thank
don't, I
you.
have one. This is really good because you just put it over your entire face,
The face. Yeah.
and that looks good like that. And I even look better. And a lot of people look. Wait a second, civil. A lot, a lot of people look. We don't want to call any names, but a lot of people look better with the mask on. This is our Friday Eve, so if we can get a little crazy here, but really, we got so much work to do, and we got so much to talk about tonight, especially my hometown, born, raised right here. I'm from Linwood Park, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Linwood Park. We got so much to talk because Georgia is the key to everything right now.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It's the central point of so many things that can happen and that will affect America in the near future,
Yeah,
right?
and before those lawyers come on, I want to make it perfectly clear. You can move to Georgia the day before you vote and register if you come here intending to stay. You can't move in and just move out on January 6th. But you
Right.
can move here and register before December 7th, and you can vote. How about
But
that?
you have to show intent to stay, right?
You showing intent to stay. Hell, I'm showing intent to stay, but I'm showing intent to leave. No, because I've been here 8 months already. And like I
Hmm.
said, the law is if you get here before December 7th, day one, you can register to vote. And just plan on staying here for a while.
Okay. All
And a
right.
lot of people will stay in Atlanta because, everything is in Atlanta. This is the city.
Yeah,
Well,
but I'm
if
gonna
you're
need
black.
them to mask up, George. We need people to put their mask on. Oh, we lost George. Uh, Hello, C.K. Hoffler, President of
Hi,
the National Bar Association.
Oh,
How
how are
are you?
ooh.
you, Sybil? And hi, George. How are you?
I'm so, when you come on, I shut up. When you come on, I shut up. She on, y'all. She is here.
Uh,
So it's so good to be here.
See, she's one of Sybil. She's one of those beautiful ladies that's running Atlanta. Don't you live in Atlanta also?
I do live in Atlanta.
Well, see, that is so beautiful. And y'all are getting better looking. You and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, y'all starting to look better and better every day. It is awesome.
Look, keep talking, keep talking.
And you're smart, and that's what I like about you. You know what's going on. You got the 411. Anybody need to know anything about this voting and registration? You have the info, and that's good. And we'll talk about that coming up.
Well, let me tell you, it's this is an incredibly important election. I mean, everybody knows it. All arrows, all fingers, all toes, all everything are pointing to Georgia
mhm.
because it's
Yeah,
going to really change the way that this administration is able to execute its plan.
that's
So
right.
I have a vested interest in making sure that there are free and fair elections without voter suppression obstruction, because we are expecting that all types of craziness in terms of voter suppression,
Hmm.
election suppression, we're expecting everything to the extreme to happen in Georgia in January.
Well, let me ask you
Amazing.
this. Did you see the Rudy Giuliani press conference today?
I just bits and pieces. It was just hard for me to just
It's
that's
it's it's difficult to watch. I will admit, and I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on the radio or on YouTube or Facebook. But it was so bizarro land like,
It's
and
not true. Tell me, I heard about it. So, but the makeup didn't start to run off his face, did it? They say
it's
he.
it's the dye from his hair as he was
Oh,
sweating. You shouldn't laugh, George,
I
because
just want to put my head on so my dye doesn't start running down my face.
No, you look great. You look great. No, he was having a little situation there.
he was.
Situation with his situation because I couldn't tell what situation it was, but it was a hot mess. But
And and he was quoting my cousin Vinny lines. They were making comparisons to having the current vote from this past election corrupted by the voting machines, and linking
Yeah.
back to the Venezuelans and Chavez, who died many years ago. If there was, and if this is an indication of how things are going in the White House, I'm not sure how much longer we can go along with this, but it's got to stop, President Hoffler.
Yes.
It's got to stop.
got to stop. It's got to stop. Well, see, this is the problem. Um, you know, Joe Biden won resoundingly,
Yes.
Yes.
as the president said with his victory, it was by a landslide. You see, these types of assertions, they come back to bite you. So
Hmm.
they lost, and the irony is two of the states that they're challenging are Republican run states,
Right.
Yes.
Georgia and Arizona.
Arizona.
And there are others too, but they're challenging, and now they're calling for the resignation of the Secretary of State. They're beating up on everybody.
Oh yeah.
But the die is cast. It's done. They need to move, go somewhere and sit down, as my grandmother would say. Just sit down.
But you had a different grandmother than mine. Mine is from the church. She said, "Boy, go sit your ass down." Perfectly.
But I just
Yeah.
thought that when I was on Sybil's show that I could have to just say it the way I said it.
Oh well, I cuss. I cuss right up straight. I'm telling you. You know, I've been clean for a long time. I was cussing this morning with Cat Williams. We were talking this morning. We
Oh
were
my
sending our
God.
love out to Sinbad. I was talking to, and he's listening and watching right now. So that get your ass over there and sit down. That's all I grew up with. Sit your ass down. So I know what that is. Go in the back room.
Right? And do that right quick and in a hurry. Like right away. Just go ahead. But I think that what's tragic is they are holding certain things hostage. We
Hmm.
should be in the full throes of a real transition,
Right.
not secretive transition talks. I mean, I don't know if you all got the message that I got, but the Biden-Harris campaign is having unofficial, secret discussions with people in the administration so
Yeah.
that they can go.
And move
Right.
things along. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And Rudy Giuliani, I mean, this is what happens when people lose. And they're just making up stuff every day, and it gets worse and worse and worse. But what the American people need to know is don't focus on that. Focus on Georgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Georgians need to understand. We need to focus on our election. I say we because I'm Georgia. We need to focus on our elections.
Hmm.
I
Focus on
say we. I say we because we're Americans. That means New Yorkers, Californians, Chicagoans, everybody. You can vote again with your contributions to these candidates. John Ossoff, as I said before, I started the campaign, vote your Ossoff for John Ossoff and Reverend Warnock. We need your money. Send that money in, and I tell you, it's just because it's getting crazy in Georgia. The ads are getting negative, and they can't find anything. As Myra was talking about last night, they went all the way back to Jeremiah Wright,
old
and
stuff. They went back to Obama administration. And I see Barbara Arnwine. Can I just say something about Barbara Arnwine?
Please bring her on.
So Barbara Arnwine, and I want the world to know this if they don't know already. This election protection effort, the nonpartisan civil and George that I've been talking about, Barbara Arnwine is the mother of the election protection movement. When she was at the Lawyers Committee on Civil Rights running things, that's when this election protection began. And she is a senior advisor. She helped to construct the National Bar Association's policy, procedures on voting rights and election issues, starting last year when I chaired that effort, and this year as president. She and Tanya Clayhouse have been my right-hand soldiers, right there every step of the way. We have a partnership with Transformative Justice Coalition. She is bad to the bone. That's all I have. Other people can say all the other stuff, Barbara, your education, whatever. Bad to the bone.
Give it up for Barbara Arnwine. Yes.
And Miss Barbara, where do you live, Miss Barbara? Where do you reside?
Well, you know, you won't believe it, but I am speaking to you right now from Atlanta, Georgia.
Come on. We call it Wakanda.
Oh, yeah,
Wakanda,
so
yeah.
You can't be talking about Georgia without being on the ground and wearing my good trouble button.
Oh,
in honor of none other than the mighty Congressman John Lewis. And
yes.
we are so glad. Thank you so much for having me on this show with the mighty president. Oh, come on.
Right.
The nut CK Hoffler. Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know, she just can't be the president of the National Bar. She also has to be the chair of the Rainbow Push Coalition. That's
Come
how
on.
the sister is.
Come on.
I can do it all. And so we are so honored. But I want to say one thing.
What's
to
that?
everybody. That when it comes between now and January the 5th, guess what? Every single one of us, we are all Georgians.
That's right.
All Georgians.
All Georgians.
That's
this
right.
Is our
So
mission.
right.
We got to finish the job. This is our mission. From now until January 5th, we're all Georgians. Pour that money into those good old grassroots organizations like the Georgia People's Agenda. If you want to do that, go to thepeoplesagenda.org. Give to people, but also volunteer.
Yeah.
You know, come on now. You can do postcards from wherever you're sitting. You can make phone-based calls from wherever you're sitting. You can do texting wherever you're sitting. You can call up your relatives.
And everybody's got them. That's right, in Georgia.
All of them, as we say. All of them.
Mama and them.
Oh, yeah, mama and them, all of them. And tell them that it's time to vote. So you can go to votingrightsalliance.org.
Votingrightsalliance.org.
Votingrightsalliance.org and sign up to do research. If you're researching, you like to put boots on the ground and do real on the ground work. If you want to help us put together marches and votercades for the first day of early voting, if you want to do youth engagement, because young people, oh my Lord, young people.
Wait a second. This is getting to me. Are you an evangelist also?
She is. Absolutely. We see that she is doing this for the good of Georgia.
Yes, it's you know.
Oh my goodness.
Because John Lewis is my heart. You know, when I went to the Capitol to say goodbye to his casket, I got on my knee and I kneeled and I said to John Lewis, as long as we got breath, we fight this fight.
That's right.
Carry it forth. You will never be forgotten. Your cause, your mission, you fought for 50 years. We know we can fight for this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Step back. So we're saying to everybody out there, this is our cause. Go to votingrightsalliance.org. Sign up. People are signing up like crazy. And the young people, I love me some young George.
Yes.
Tell them about it, right, CK?
They are. Let me tell you, they are. And let me tell you something. I got to jump in when it comes to young people. We all know I lie about my age, so I say I'm them. But the young, they're saying, they're like, how old is that, 30? I'm like, me too, I'm 37. Anyway, the Young Lawyers Division of the National Bar Association is in charge in a huge way. They worked aggressively on the Florida effort to restore the rights of those formerly convicted felons. But now they have descended on Georgia. Unbelievable. Barbara and I, ironically, Sybil, we were meeting earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
We spent probably about 3 hours together
Yes,
with
we
the chair of
did.
the board, Daryl Jones, talking about the combination, the coordination between the grassroots, the phenomenal grassroots organizations that have organized and mobilized here in Georgia, and the lawyers. Each of us has to play a role. Barbara just happens to be both. You know, George said something about an evangelist. She's a lawyer. She's one of the baddest lawyers out there too. You know, we have to have about 10 jobs. We can't
Right.
do
She's a lawyer. I need you as my representative because my insurance company is not acting right. They're not acting like a good neighbor.
Watch out.
My insurance company is, yeah.
Oh,
My-
George, George, can you hold on to that case until January 6th?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Hold on
okay,
to that till January 6th, okay?
okay.
but we really, really are, and you are so right. All arrows must point to Georgia. Everybody can contribute.
Yeah.
It
And
is, Georgia voters have to vote, but everyone else can help to mobilize from where they are. But it has to be part of the coordinated effort in place. The organizations in Georgia have said, if you're going to come here, they don't need people to come in droves to Georgia. They need for the effort to be organized, well orchestrated, well executed, not just in the metropolitan areas, in the rural areas. And
There
so
you go.
campaign, and we want actually the campaign, the Barbara, Daryl and I talked about today. We need to solicit George, Mr. Dr. George, I ain't got no money, Wallace. What I see up here. I didn't make that up. I just said, Mr. Dr. George, I ain't got no money, Wallace, and Sybil Wilkes, because what we need are
Yes.
people who are strong in our communities nationwide, speaking truth to power and saying, look now. And we have to break it down into really simple. We don't need to get all high tech, intellectual. We need to break it down. This is what we need to know. 1, 2, 3. Public service announcements and also doing the radio circuit. We need you all because people will connect with you. They need to know, Mr. Dr. George ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. Wallace said the following. Sybil Wilkes, we listen to you every morning for years.
Yes.
They need to know. Sybil Wilkes is saying this because we need to allow, especially folks in Georgia, but also outside of Georgia, to understand the significance of this.
Yes.
We have to connect the dots because some people said, I did my due. I voted for the president. Now I don't know what they talk about.
No.
Don't understand. But what they need to understand is for this president and for our vice president, Kamala Harris, to be able to execute their plan.
Right.
Yes.
To pass immigration legislation, to pass voting rights, civil rights,
Yes.
health.
To get that John Lewis bill off the desk.
The George Lewis Policing Act, all of that, it needs to go through the Senate. So let's just talk about why the Senate, because the Senate, it goes from the House to the Senate, and we don't have the votes currently to do anything. There's another word I was going to use to do, Jack. We don't have the vote, but we get 2 more. That would be John Ossoff and Dr. Reverend Raphael Warnock.
And I want to be clear, all the
Yes,
work
yes.
that we do is all the work that the Transformative Justice Coalition does is nonpartisan. We're not telling people who to vote for, but guess what we know? We know one darn thing. That if you clear the table, give Black folks the opportunity to really vote, honey, we don't have to tell them what to do. They know what to do once they get in the polling booth.
They know what to do. But let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, because in Atlanta, in Macon, in Savannah, in Columbus, in Augusta, we pretty much know we got us.
Yes.
What can we do? Oh, Benny, what can we do? We need to go to that Forsyth County. There's something nice we got to do to these red counties because they got to understand that Trump is deceitful and they know he's wrong and they know they can see the ads that are running are very negative and lies, and they got to come. We got to get them on board with us here in Georgia, these red counties, and because it's very important. We need these young white people are doing it for us too, you know.
They are.
These young white kids.
And I want people to know a couple of things that are important. Clayton County, 80,000 Black folks who could have voted didn't.
Wow.
Already?
Yeah, I just looked at the Clayton County turnout.
So that was in the general election.
Yes.
80,000.
80,000 didn't vote or could have voted.
And I looked.
Are you serious?
Yes, I just looked at the turnout data. Not pretty.
And that is Congressman Lewis's area, right? That's where he represented, right?
Yes.
And they had a very important race there
and
to fill his position.
So I want folks to get it, right? That this is, important to us, that we have to reach the folks who didn't vote.
Yeah.
Reach the folks who voted already, who are saying, I'm tired. See, folks forget that during the primary, they wore Black people out.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, my.
Know who was in the line and stood in that line for 5 hours?
Yeah.
One C.K. Hoffler. And, so they wore Black people out. They abused us. I call it voter abuse. And then they turned around during the early voting period of the general election, and folks, some people were in those lines for 6 and 16 hours.
And this is during COVID.
Right.
And the cold. And while when we say you gotta go out again, they look at us like, what?
I've done it. No.
Right, exactly. And that's that's the people who
need to get
a whole lot of people have no clue there's no and
that's why we
I am.
And one more point. There's a whole lot of counties with Black folks in Georgia that have no broadband, which means they have no internet, folks. No internet at all. Their churches don't even meet now. You know what a pastor can't meet his church.
That's right.
I mean, you know it's bad. You know it's serious. So they are suffering. They can't even get the pastor, can't even go out and collect money because they can't meet because there's no internet. So, folks are suffering. So they don't have the information. So that's one thing CK and I were talking about today, about how we get around those obstacles and how do we really make sure that those people know, because when you look at the voting turnout again, you're going to see that in those counties it was very low. That's what can turn this.
That is very amazing. Clayton County, 80,000 people did not vote.
80.
Now, Sybil, this is the county where the world's busiest airport is in Clayton County.
Right.
The world's busiest airport is in Clayton County. 80,000 did not show. Y'all close to. Somebody need their ass whipped.
Here we go. Okay, we just lost Barbara. Okay. Hang on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Attorney Arnwine, we're having a problem. I don't know if something is blocking your mic or something, but it sounds a little muffled.
Oh, okay.
You were right there when you just said okay. That was perfect.
Okay.
But Barbara, your picture is a little off now.
There we go.
Okay. So I was just giving it some energy.
Okay, so you were giving it a lot of energy, absolutely, and I love that. But it was just a little muffled. So
okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
I
ma'am.
took the charger out. Okay.
Yes. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now, let me ask you. You talked about Clayton County, and as you said, that is Congressman Lewis's former area district, right? Part of it is, and so there are still people there who 80,000
Black folks did not vote, and
I don't understand that.
Well, I think, there's a whole lot of reasons. Like I said, they abused folks during early voting. They abused them. And that sour taste is in some people's mouth. But what we want to do is go back out to them and encourage them and let them know that just like we are all Georgians, they are the entire nation right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think, George, to your point, you said, we know about Macon, Columbus, Atlanta, all those places. We have to double our efforts in those places to make sure that those people come out again and make sure they haven't been purged from the roles, that they've not been purged. Because remember, we're not operating with a level playing field. We're operating with some people who are very unsavory, still don't believe that Georgia turned blue. Can we just talk about that? That Georgia turned blue that there are people in the South that could possibly have voted for Joe Biden, the Biden-Harris ticket. So all of those forces are at play. And by the way, the white supremacy groups, the groups that are hell-bent on intimidating Black voters. When you're in Atlanta and some of those cities, that's one thing. But when you're in rural areas where sometimes law enforcement
are the same as, yes.
Right. And they know every family and everything, and they know, situations and stuff like that. The level of voter intimidation is significant, and we're expecting, now that's where we're expecting a lot of people coming from out of town to do that. So we have to really remember where we are. All eyes are on Georgia. Internationally, the eyes are on Georgia. We know that we have a hostile, I'm just stating the facts, a hostile president who believes that Georgia somehow was stolen from him by a Republican-led administration, despite the recount and all of that. So when you have all of this at play, what that equals is a very, very difficult situation for people who just want to vote. So we have to help them. We have to help them register if they're not registered, ensure that they are still registered if they were registered for the presidential election but somehow got purged. We have to energize our base again. We have to then connect the dots as to why this is important. Because we do know that historically people forget about midterm elections and runoff. They don't even realize it's runoff. So we have to go out there, all of us, and make sure that people are well educated.
Yes.
There's a lot of disinformation out there, a lot of bad information, wrong information, dirty information, low down information. We've got to reset the table. And the people who are doing it are all of us on this show, Sybil, on your show, our grassroots organizations, our religious communities, because we in our communities, and lawyers. I don't say that because I'm president of the National Bar Association. I'm saying it because it's true.
Yeah.
We do, don't forget, we the only group, now I'm breaking it down, we the only group that file something in court to stop something. It is the lawyers. And we have teamed up. We've got it. Everybody was in place for the presidential elections. But we can't go to sleep at the wheel right now. We have to heighten our level of attention and efforts on this. So that is something, these are the messaging that we hope that Mr. Dr. George, I ain't got no money, Wallace will deliver to the community, and Sybil Wilkes, and Sybil, all of your posse, because they're influential. And that's what we have to do to win.
Let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm talking to radio stations all across America and Birmingham, and I'm talking to Los Angeles radio, and I'm encouraging those people, they can still vote again with their donations to Georgia. Now, today I have been surprised, Ms. Barbara, by you saying, actually, I'm very surprised because this is 80,000 people that did not vote. Is very shocking to me because this 80,000 alone could make a big difference.
And let me be very clear what we're saying we got to do about that, right? I just left the call, and I apologize for being a little late, but I just left the call of hundreds of organizers. And we're putting about 300,000 people to work doing postcards into Georgia. We're going to do a couple million if we can into Georgia, making sure people have all the information they need. We got over 600 people signed up to do phone banking, and we were talking to that committee. We got a youth engagement committee. It's all about young people. They're getting ready to do some PSAs and videos of just young folks talking to young folks and infographics and all that. And we were talking to our clergy to the polls committee. We were talking about our research committee. And guess what? While we were talking, the other thing that the People's Agenda is going to be doing is they're going to be putting people in Clayton County this weekend. Nice. They're walking the streets in Clayton County.
Right.
And they're doing literature drops, and they're doing door knocking to those neighborhoods, those 80,000.
That's what I want to do.
They're coming to them.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're coming after somebody. But they're saying you gotta.
Sybil, can you imagine you knocking on somebody's door?
Yes.
Sybil, can you imagine you knocking on somebody's door and they go, "Oh my God!" And we need to pass a law right now. If you live in Clayton County and you black, and if you don't vote, you got to leave. You got to get the hell out of town. That should be the law. You must vote. You must vote. Because those 80,000, that's a lot of votes.
That's a lot of, but all the things that Barbara's talking about, money. So contributing the money is going to be important. And Barbara, I will share, we're going to do some talking points for those people like Mr. Dr. Joy ain't got no money, Wallace. When you're talking around the country, you might need a talking point or two, just as a, just to have this, these are the things, these are the dates, because they have 3 or 4 things that we really need to know. But we want to make sure that you have that information so that you're able to, when you're imparting the information nationwide, where they should donate to, who it is and all that. We want to make sure
them to donate to GeorgiaSenate.com, GeorgiaSenate.com, Fair Fight, all of them. The one Dr. Barbara just said, I'll do that one. Just send your money. Send it to me. I'll get it out.
Well, you can also send it to our group, which is tjcoalition.org, which is all volunteers, totally nonpartisan. And you can write it off your taxes, tjcoalition.org. But also, like I said, to the peoplesagenda.org too. I'm just so impressed at the Georgia organizers. They already turned it around in this state, and they're not going to let anybody steal the vote. You know what's ugly today as we sitting here, your president, that man, he had folks come in from Michigan, folks come in from Wisconsin, and told them basically what he wants them to do. And we know what that is. They tried to block this week 800,000 black votes out of Detroit.
That's right.
They have targeted and sent $3 million. Yet last night they sent $3 million to Wisconsin to do what? To pay for a recount in Dane County and Milwaukee County. Guess what those counties got in common? What do they got in common, folks? Black.
BLACK. There you go.
They black, and that's what they have in common. They got black and brown people, and all those counties and all those problems. These are the two they want to talk about.
Right.
Black and so this is just racial hate. Every time he gets on, he's talking about the problems on those bad people in Philadelphia, the bad people in Milwaukee, the bad people in Detroit. And guess who else he talks about? The bad people in Atlanta. Well, guess what? We're going to be bad, all right. We're going to show you what bad looks like. We're going to have some bad.
I want us to be bad.
It's going to be super bad. We're going to show folks how we operate, who we are, what we can do, because this is our time.
And we're doing it the right way. Right? All that other raggedy stuff, we're doing it the right way.
That's right.
Let me ask you a couple of housekeeping questions because a couple of housekeeping questions because we've jokingly talked about moving to Georgia so that we could participate in this. And George has told us that just this evening, that if you move to Georgia now and you can move up until the day before it's time to vote, and you can register to vote if you plan to live there for a long period of time. How do you prove that? How does that work?
That's what I said.
Well, I think that if you come to Georgia and you register to vote and you leave in January, you in trouble.
Okay.
I think that's the answer. But that's the answer.
I got it. Now I'm going to put my lawyer hat on.
Okay.
Let me put my lawyer hat on.
I know she's going to start making the argument.
So we do, of course, it's important for people to vote. But what we don't want is people doing anything that could be legitimately fraud.
That's right.
We don't want no legitimately fraud stuff. You don't need to win that way. But there are people who want to move to Georgia.
Right.
Legitimately.
They legitimately want to move to Georgia. You have to have an address, just like when you move anywhere. When you register to vote in Georgia, okay, when you have
Exactly.
a state driver's license, you have 30 days, right, to change it over to a Georgia driver's license, right?
Right.
You have to get a domicile. You have to have a place to live. You have to do all the things that you'd have to do no matter who you are when you're moving to another state.
Sure.
That's right.
So our eyes are going to be on that because they're going to anticipate that some people will try to bend the rules. We're not talking about winning, bending the rules. We're talking about winning,
Right.
getting out the vote, having nonpartisan effort, and fighting voter suppression, election suppression, because we know what's happening. And we can win based on that. And Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, like if we just look at protecting the right to vote, take it from the late Congressman John Lewis, what the body of his life was about.
That's right.
Voting. And now for us, again, protecting the right to vote. That's how we win. That's how we won the first time. And that's all we're doing now is taking it to
Let me ask you a question. Here's a question. What's the number on Democrats we have in the state of Georgia and the number of Republicans we have in the state of Georgia? Because I don't want to surprise like South Carolina. The polls were saying how Jamie Harrison was winning, and it turned out to be completely different. What are our numbers in Georgia for Democrats?
Good question. I don't know.
Somebody speak up.
Even, isn't it? And then you got the
It's like what had happened was, I don't know. I honestly don't know off the top of my head.
But I think
you know, they're independents that also.
it's almost evenly split, but then you got to put in your independents, right?
Yeah.
And you got to also put in your quote others. And what happened in this race was that the independents voted.
Right.
And they voted like Dems. And that was important. Plus, one thing nobody talks about is the youth vote was incredible in Georgia. Those people between the ages of 18 and 29 showed up. I mean,
Barbara, we're back to you being a little muffled again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's not working well.
No. Just you're right. You're right there. You're perfect. Right there.
Okay.
I know you've heard that before. Don't move.
Okay.
So, okay.
Sybil, you're wrong. Sybil, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm sorry. We're some dirty people off air. When he says don't move, that's just a whole different key. Good morning, everybody.
So you were saying about the 18 to 29-year-olds.
They turned out. They increased their share of the vote nationwide like crazy. And also people don't realize that the Latino vote in Georgia voted almost identical to the black vote. Which you don't see in every
No, you don't.
Another demographic that people didn't really expect, Asian Americans turned out and voted. There's a huge Latino community as well as Asian community in Georgia in certain places. And the other thing too, there are many voters that don't identify with any party.
That's the
and that voted in favor of the Democratic candidate. Right.
Yeah.
So all of those. So when we look at, to George's question, what are the percentages? I don't know that's the way we have to look at it. We have to look at who turned out to vote and making sure that the same way those groups of people voted, they vote again. I think the young folks are going to make the biggest difference this time. Again. Because they're energized, they understand, but that's why we need everybody, young, middle-aged, older, like, the young people like, me, 37, getting out. I'm about to turn 37. That's right, I'm 35 something. But anyway, all of those, we need everybody out there talking to people so that so we can connect the dots. Why is this important? It should be 1, 2, 3. Why do I need to vote? 1, 2. Really should just be 1, but 1, 2. Just really connecting the dots, because the dots don't automatically connect when you think about, the president, Joe Biden won the presidency. He's a Democrat. So why do we need to be concerned about this Senate race? They don't connect automatically. It has to be explained. And it has to be explained, by the way, in Spanish too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just need to
see,
have see.
And like you were saying,
No quiero saber, señor Jorge. ¿Tú vas a español? ¿Hablas español también?
see.
absolutely, absolutely. And one other thing we got to say to everybody is that that hotline I mentioned, we have 40 people who are going to just be calling Spanish speakers. Because we and others who want to join and volunteer, go to votingrightsalliance.org and volunteer. Right now, we're getting something like 70 signups a day. And you'll be proud to know, CK, that Ashley from the National Bar Association, Young Lawyers, was on the phone call earlier, and she said, "Count on us."
Yeah, I know.
We're going to be there. They said, don't you dare count out the young Black lawyers. We're going to be there to do our part. Yes.
People are asking about donating money, and I have the Voting Rights Alliance.org, I have tjcoalition.org, and I have the peoplesagenda.org. And what else are we missing?
Oh, I know a lot of people love my sister, Latasha Brown.
And Black Voters Matter.
With Black Votes Matters. She's awesome. And
we got GeorgiaSenate.com. We got GeorgiaSenate.com also.
And I'm that's who I'm working with is Latasha with Black Voters Matter. Yeah.
Last night.
Oh, good. Yeah. And we're, I'm trying to, get down there and do what I can. And want people to do whatever we can. I love the idea. And that whole sending the postcards just reminds me of my mom and my godmother. And so while we're sitting in the house, this is a great opportunity for us to sign and to address those postcards and get them in the mail. Hopefully, the post office isn't that messed up that we can get this information.
Well,
the point is, this is something for us to do.
Doing it now. That's why they're doing it now. And then another component, we need to also make sure that we don't minimize the power of prayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Power of prayer. Because when we think about people who are feeling the pressure in their communities, being targeted, feeling danger. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm saying just feeling danger because they exercise their right to vote.
Yes.
We have to put that on a mantle. We have to put that on and just not forget that. And when there was at the polls this past presidential election, an escalation. There was a program called Lawyers and Collars, and the religious organizations and the religious effort. Those ministers and church folks were at the polls de-escalating because they have a soothing way. So being in the community and de-escalating situations that are getting out of hand, very, very important. So I just don't want us to lose sight of that as we do all the other things that we have to do as community leaders and as we push forward for our organizations.
And by the way, I know Sybil, you just heard. I can tell on your face. Georgia has confirmed. Go ahead, Sybil.
No, I was gonna,
Georgia has confirmed that Joe Biden is president. As one Georgia. The state of Georgia has confirmed.
We knew it.
And by the way, I ain't but one person who didn't know it, but anyway.
So they have finalized.
Oh, he knows.
Of the race, and do confirm that President-elect Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump, according to the Secretary of State's office. And how about that Secretary of State, by the way?
Republican.
I know he's shocked.
Sybil, you was right last night. He might run against Brian Kemp for governor of Georgia on the Republican ticket. I think you're right, Sybil, what you said last night.
I think you make a good point.
But I don't want people to think that that the scales of justice coming up for this runoff aren't already being tipped.
Right.
Because let's face it, a January 5th date, that's horrible. I mean,
after Christmas, after New Year, people will. That's hypothetically, if people, let's say they imbibed or something, New Year, might take them a couple of days to get over and recover. It's right there. And people people think about is just going out to vote.
Let's also, while we're talking about what it'll take for people to vote, let's give them the dates too, in terms of voter registration deadline and early voting and so forth.
Right now, everybody in Georgia, you must apply for your absentee ballot if you're going to vote by absentee ballot. You have to apply. Nobody's going to send it to you unless you apply for it. Your churches can help you get it. Anybody can fax you one. You can email it back. You can fax it back in. You can take it in. You need to do that like yesterday. You need to do that ASAP.
Okay.
Barbara, for those people who don't have access to the internet, see, this is what we're dealing with. People who don't have access to the internet, we need to let them know how they can get their absentee ballot, because there are, in rural areas, there are election offices. There are voter election offices, that they can go to as well.
And as you say,
the churches can print out copies, and organizations can, and they can come and sign them up, and those churches can take them over to the Board of Elections. There's nothing illegal about that in Georgia.
Right.
So we don't want people. The other thing is December 7th is the voter registration date.
That's the deadline.
Registered by
the deadline.
December 7th. That's the deadline.
Okay.
And December 14th is the beginning of early voting. And we're going to be in every city in Georgia with John Lewis marches to make sure that people know that it's time to get out there and vote. And we're saying to everybody, vote between December the 14th and December the 23rd to get it over with.
Get it over with.
All the way
before Christmas.
January 5th.
Right.
But we wanted people to really get that in their head so that they drive themselves to do what was so successful for November 3rd was people voted early.
Right.
We want you to vote early. Don't wait to the last minute. Take those.
Especially you people in Clayton County. Clayton County. Clayton County, are you listening? You know, unfortunately, I don't think it's only Clayton County. We probably need to do some counting in other counties also and get those numbers up.
I saw one county that had 52% turnout, and the average turnout was 70% in Georgia. And let's be clear, Black folks overturned out in so many of those counties. We did beautiful in a lot of counties. I saw 72% and etc. But the ones where we didn't is the ones we got to go after. So I just, wanted to be clear about that. And, they're so dirty in Georgia that guess what? There's only one weekend of voting. And what day do you think that is? The one day, a weekend vote.
Sunday.
Thanksgiving weekend or something like that?
No, if you're trying to suppress the vote, when do you have it?
What?
Try December the 26th.
Shut up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
I kid you not.
Oh, come on.
I kid you not. So that's what we're up against. That's why we got to all be Georgians right now. That's why we all have Georgia on our mind.
So
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, CK, because you were talking about the numbers of people who were purged from the rolls as they went to vote. So first of all, how do people know, or if they don't know, how do we get in touch with them to let them know that they still have an opportunity to do this?
Well, they can go to vote.org. Remember vote.org? Remember we talked about vote.org? Yes. Voting status. Vote.org. VOTE.org. Because vote.org.
Or if they're old school, they can call 1-866-OUR-VOTE. 866-687-8683.
Okay.
And online, one thing Georgia has done, you can actually go online to the Georgia the Secretary of State's website, and you can check your status. They have all these different tabs. Check your voting status. But I mean, let's assume you don't, do that.
No internet or anything, you can go to the phones and do that. Yeah.
1-866 our vote.
Our vote. OURVOTE.
So this, I think, a way of allowing people to remember, and then simple, like every day on your shows, you could say December 7th, December 14th.
Yep.
December 7th, deadline to register, December 14th, early voting. So December 7th, December 14th. And then do another 7 days from December 14th to December 21, try to vote during that period. 14th to so 7 days, December, because like it's like kind of the number thing, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
That's the deadline to register to vote. 14th, early voting begins. By the 21st, 7 more days later, try to vote between the 14th and the 21st. And I think every show, we really want to help people to get into Georgia. It's when it's catchy like that, people remember. That's right. It's 14th and 21. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but there's something I'm supposed to do on the 7th, 14th, and 21st. But I think that's a way of getting people's attention. That it can be done. You can do it. It can be done. The 7th is the deadline.
Yes.
And that's why
voter registration.
For voter registration.
And the earlier you do it, the earlier you go to vote, the better it is, not only to get those numbers up, but also if there's a problem.
Yes.
Then you can correct the problem before it's too late, instead of waiting until January 5th or whatever. Yeah.
One thing we're telling people is you early voting and they tell you there's a problem, that they can't find you on the voter registration, or they say that they don't think you're in the right county, whatever. You need to step out of that line and call. You need to step out of that line and call that 866 our vote number, because there's an attorney, a legal volunteer on the other side who will tell you what to do. Now, I sat on that hotline for years because I helped to create that hotline, many years ago. And I've sat on it, and I've had people call me and say, ma'am, I'm standing here, and they're telling me I'm not registered. I know I'm registered. I got my card. And they're telling me they can't find me on the books. And I have been able to say, you know what? I got good news for you. Give me your name. And they've given me their name. And I've gone in and I say, I found you. I said, give me that poll worker. Put them on the phone right now. And poll worker said, well, ma'am, we can't find. I said, look on page 41 of the supplementals. It is the 8th name. And they go, oh.
Right. What happened was.
So I'm just telling you, it happens all the time. So we need people, that's the beauty of voting early, because if you're voting on the 5th, you're not going to have time to do that.
That's right.
And if they say that they need you to bring back some kind of ID or whatever, you got time to do it. That's why you want to go vote early. Don't wait.
That's right. CK, you brought to mind, you said we need people out there praying and about doing the work. And so that brought to mind my cousin Joe Jackson, who is a preacher. His church is it Alpharetta, Georgia? Joe, can you hear me?
He can't hear. It must be
Lawrenceville.
Oh, okay. So
we just moved to Lawrenceville.
So it's the Lord's house, right?
That's correct.
All right, George. So I just need you to leave us with a word. George, no cussing. This is my cousin Joe. He's a preacher.
I won't cuss. I was in Lawrenceville yesterday. He's a preacher. I'm a preacher too. God bless you, preacher. I love you, preacher. You know people cussing in. Hey, preacher, you know people cussing in church, right? Preacher, pastor, you know people are cussing in church, right? At communion time, y'all got this new thing with the communion. You got the wine and the wafer combined in that little container. And then when it's time to drink it, people can't open it. And I see little old ladies from the motherboard with white dresses going, this some bull crap right here. This some bull. That's what they say, but this some bull. They can't open that container. And then it's only a half a glass of wine. What? And bring them old soda crackers back like we used to have. Them wafers are awful, Pastor.
So George, God's people don't cuss in church. They think cuss. They don't say it, but they think it.
They think it.
Is that right?
So, Joe,
Well, my pastor be in the back. He's going, you got 5,000 people out there and all y'all raising $150. That's some hell. There's some hell going to be raised up. That's a damn shame. All preachers cuss. I hear y'all cussing.
So Joe will not cuss. I can guarantee you of that. But Joe, we just wanted you to leave us with a word because the great things are happening in your state of Georgia, your adopted home of Georgia. And as Attorney Arnwine and Attorney Hoffler, president of the NBA, have been here talking to us this hour about how we need to be very prayerful about what's going on in the state of Georgia and to make that change, to make that switch, to bring about a successful administration in the White House and beyond as a result of the vote that's going to be completed on January 5th. So if you would leave us with a word, we'd appreciate it.
Well, we're really excited about
before he pray, can I say one more thing about Black history before you pray? Monday night, make sure we all watch Monday Night Football because history is going to be made. All Black professional.
I was going to bring that up, George, because you have a relative that is in there. You have a relative that is a part of those.
Barry Anderson. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be history. And I got history in my family. I'm the only Black family in America that has 7 Super Bowl rings in my family. We'll talk about that the next time. But watch those Black officials. And they better not do nothing wrong. They better not do nothing wrong.
All right, Joe. So would you leave us with a word?
Absolutely, Sybil. Thank you so much for inviting me. First of all, we're excited that Georgia has suddenly become the epicenter of not only the presidential election and its outcome, but also the senatorial elections that will take place January 5th. Reverend Warnock is one of our great heroes here in town, and we're really excited about the momentum that he has. We're also excited about John Ossoff, and we think we can have an impact on changing the balance of power in this country. So we're working to share with you, Sybil and team, is that I'm hearing great things between 23 and 40 years old, 41 years old, that they recognize that they can't get voter fatigue now. They've got to go back to the polls on January 5th.
Yes.
They also recognize the critical importance of this election. As you know, we don't do well with runoff elections because after such a momentous election as we just had, people are exhausted from everything that's happened and they fall away. But this time, I think we have the momentum and also the impetus and everything that you all have been talking about, bringing the minds of not only voters here in Georgia. So we're looking forward to seeing what the outcomes are going to be.
So, Joe, you have the youngins in your house, and we know that. And so, what are you gonna tell folks in church on Sunday morning?
What I'm going to tell them is vote. Get out and vote. It's not over yet. You know, there's no time. You know, we sing a song. The old church used to sing a song called "I Ain't No Ways Tired. I Come This Far."
Yes, that's it.
You know, I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. Absolutely. You can't be tired at this point in time. The journey is just beginning, and we've got to make sure that we maintain our enthusiasm, but also maintain our commitment to complete the change that has taken place. This transformation is not over yet. It's a transformation in progress. So we've got to finish our work does not end. That's right.
We ain't no ways tired. Thank you, Joe Jackson.
Are you going to pray? Are you going to pray? Aren't you supposed to pray? You're supposed to pray, Sybil.
George,
you forgot to pray.
I'm going to pray. I'm going to just give you 15 seconds, and I'm going to pray. Father, we ask you right now to transform this nation through the things that are happening right now in the aftermath of the general election and the format of the election, the runoff election that will take place January 5th. In charge your people, Lord God, with a desire to go out and do what Micah said, to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with their God. You said in your word that the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. We're looking forward to great outcomes. We thank you and give you the glory that's due your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
And I'll tell you what, we're going to leave with one more thing.
George, we're going to let you go. Barbara Arnwine, and to CK Hoffler, if you could stick around. I need to talk to you guys after we go off the air.
Okay.
Joe, thank you so much. I'm going to put a little
Love you,
extra in the
Sybil.
tide for you next week. And George, we will talk to you next week. And don't forget to look for George's cousin
Sybil, can I say one more thing before we leave? Can I say one more thing before we leave?
No.
Yolanda, can you hear it? Because they need to hear this.
No.
They need to hear just one verse of it, Sybil. Please, just one verse. Hit it, Yolanda. You could have had it on by now. Yolanda, hit it. Hit it.
Trump is gone.
Oh, well.
Trump is gone. Trump is gone. Trump is gone. I don't need no other words to this song. But Trump is gone. Oh, yes, he is. Trump is gone. Trump is gone. Trump is gone. Trump is gone. I don't need no other words to this song. But Trump is gone. His ass is gone.
Hi.
Love it. Love it.
Hey,